My girlfriend Gabriella came back drunk from the bar, and I sat by the window, showing no reaction to her return. She was surprised that I had changed, no longer fussing over her with endless care, no longer granting her every request. There was no more warm breakfast in the morning, no more late-night texts waiting for her. The sweet words I once whispered while pretending to be tipsy, saying I would marry her, had also disappeared. "What are you thinking?" she asked, putting down her bag. I turned my head. The phone went dark, and on the screen was a photo of my girlfriend and her secretary Luis drinking a cross-cupped wine together. I chuckled softly. Nothing. So this is what it feels like, when love is gone. The heart no longer aches. After that, I called my mother. "Mom, I agreed to come home and take over everything." Chapter 1. What's wrong with you? These days you barely even talk. I didn't answer, only stared out the window. "Forget it," she said, pulling a box out of her bag. "Here, this is for you." I opened the box. A platinum cufflink gleamed under the light. I closed the box gently and placed it back on the coffee table. "Why give me this all of a sudden?" "Because you finally learned not to bother me lately," she said with a smile. "You don't call me nonstop when I go out anymore. That deserves a reward." I slid the box back toward her. "Save it for Luis. He'll appreciate it more." Her smile froze. What did you see?" "What did I see? Your cross-cupped wine. Or that phrase, the one you love the most." "Gabriella." I looked straight into her eyes. "We're over." She slammed the table. "How dare you? Just because of one photo? How dare I?" I let out a bitter laugh. "After years of bending over backward for you, what I got in return was betrayal. Do you remember last month when you came home at 3 in the morning? I asked. I waited for you at the door for 4 hours. There you go again." She rolled her eyes. "You always blow things out of proportion. I called you 37 times, I said calmly, and then you blocked me. Because you're too annoying. Always like this. Can't I even have dinner with friends?" "So I contacted all your friends. I even called the police, and the police told me you were drunk at a bar. You're insane." She glared at me. "I need freedom in my life, not you monitoring me." "Yeah, I'm insane." I nodded. "Insane enough to believe you actually loved me. Until that night, when I saw Luis's post. They were in the bar, glasses clinking, eyes only for each other, and underneath it, the words, spending the night with the one I love the most." That moment, my heart shattered, but I also woke up. This relationship was a mistake from the very beginning. I stood up and walked toward the study. "It's time to end it." "You can't." She rushed after me, grabbing my arm. "You promised you'd stay with me forever." I shook off her hand and closed the door. Then I dialed my mother's number. "Mom, I'm ready to come back. Let's do it your way." "Really?" My mother's voice was full of joy. "Wonderful. I'll arrange everything. You just need to come back for the marriage certificate. The Sun family's daughter has always admired you." After hanging up, I stared blankly out the window. Yes. I gave up the family's arranged path because of her. "I'll give you the best life," I once promised. "I'll make you the most successful woman in this city." Now, coffee shops under my name spread all across the city, but her heart is no longer with me. From the day she hired Luis as her secretary, everything had changed. She once said of her new secretary, "He knows what I need." Unlike you who are always trying to control everything. If that's the case, why keep deceiving myself any longer? Chapter 2. On the phone with Luis again, I asked, standing at the bedroom door. Gabriella glanced at me, then kept laughing sweetly into her phone. "Sorry, my boyfriend's talking to me. I'll call you back later." She hung up and looked at me impatiently. "What is it?" "Nothing. Just letting you know I'll be sleeping in the study tonight." "Suit yourself." She shrugged and picked her phone back up. I quietly walked toward the study. Behind me, her laughter rang out once more. Ever since Luis became her secretary, we had started sleeping in separate rooms. At first she made excuses. Later, she didn't even bother explaining. As soon as I lay down, my phone buzzed. It was a voice message from Luis. Gabriella's voice came through, softer and more tender than I had ever known. "Baby, imagine us in a cabin by the sea." Such blatant provocation felt childish. I shut off my phone and closed my eyes. The pain that once tore at my chest had turned into numbness, maybe even relief. "Are you really quitting?" my colleague asked the next morning, eyeing the envelope in my hand. "Yes, it's already decided. Because of Gabriella always being with her secretary. Everyone sees it, except you." Pretending not to, I gave a bitter smile, shook my head, and walked toward HR. As the elevator doors opened, I saw Gabriella carrying 2 cups of coffee into her office. Through the glass door, she laid food on the desk. Even I was never allowed to get close to that desk. Luis took the food, deliberately glancing in my direction. He leaned into Gabriella's ear, whispered something, and she immediately pressed the remote. The blinds slowly closed. The HR manager finished reading my resignation letter. "According to policy, you'll need to complete 1 week of transition." "No problem. I'll handle everything." At the end of the day, Luis blocked my path. "There's a great restaurant tonight. Want to join?" "What exactly are you trying to do?" I stared into his eyes. "Just an invitation. After all, we're colleagues. No need." I walked past him toward the exit. Let him be. Gabriella's voice called from behind me. That's just how he is, gets all sour whenever he sees us together. On the way home, I scrolled through Luis's new post. In the photo, he was playing with a professional camera. Gabriella smiled by his side. The caption read, "Thanks to the perfect boss for the amazing gift." Last year, on my birthday, Gabriella and I had fought bitterly over photography. "Can you stop carrying the damn camera around all the time?" she had screamed at me, before throwing my favorite lens into the sink. And now, she not only bought Luis expensive gear but also accompanied him to take photos. So it wasn't photography she hated, it was me. Late that night, a video call shattered my sleep. "Augustine, we just left the bar," Luis said, holding up a flushed Gabriella. "She drank too much, but don't worry, I'll get her home safe." Before he could finish, Gabriella suddenly lifted her head and kissed him on the cheek. "Baby," she slurred. Luis froze for a moment, then broke into a smug smile. "She's drunk. Must have mistaken me for you. Don't bother coming back," I said coldly. "Find a hotel." I hung up and shut off every line of communication. Chapter 3. A sharp ring of the doorbell jolted me from sleep. "Who is it?" I rubbed my eyes and glanced at my phone. 3:15 a.m. From outside came Gabriella's slurred voice. "It's me. Open up." I opened the door. Luis was holding up a drunken Gabriella in the hallway. "Sorry to bother you," Luis said with false courtesy. "Gabriella drank too much, so I brought her back." "Thanks. I'll take it from here." I reached out to support Gabriella, but Luis didn't let go immediately. "Heard you weren't happy about our photo." "Doesn't matter," I said flatly. "Really?" he sneered. "Then why did you resign? Why stop calling her?" I didn't answer. He leaned closer to my ear. "Why humiliate yourself? Even if you marry her, her heart will always belong to me. In the past, such provocation would have made me furious. Now, I only wanted him gone." "You should leave," I said, staring into his eyes. Luis shrugged. "Suit yourself." He finally let go of Gabriella, but before turning away, he deliberately called out, "See you tomorrow, baby." I helped Gabriella inside. She reeked of alcohol. Her makeup was smudged, and she could barely stand. "I want a shower," she mumbled. "Can you manage it yourself?" "Of course." She staggered toward the bathroom. "I'm not a child." The bathroom door shut, water splashing inside. I sat on the couch, lost in thought. After some time, the door opened. Wrapped in a towel, Gabriella came out. "Why aren't you asleep?" she asked, her voice clearer now. "Waiting for you." She bent over, staring at me. "Are you angry?" "No, liar." She sat down beside me, her fingers tracing my cheek. "Is it because Luis brought me back?" I didn't answer. "Don't be like that." Her tone softened as she leaned closer. "He and I are just colleagues." "Then how do you explain the marks on your neck?" She instinctively touched her neck. "What marks?" "Don't play dumb." I gave a cold laugh. "The whole company knows what's going on between you two." "Nonsense." She raised her voice. "You're always so paranoid." Then suddenly she switched tactics, her voice turning gentle. "Augustine, let's have a baby." That sentence hit me like a bucket of ice water. "Are you serious?" "Of course." She smiled. "We've been together for so long. It's time we had a child, with you and Luis flirting." "I told you, it's just a work relationship," she snapped, standing up angrily. "Why can't you ever trust me?" Just then, her phone rang with a special ringtone. She immediately snatched it up. "Hello, Luis." After a short call, she quickly dressed. "Luis got into a fight at the bar. I need to go. Now," I asked with biting sarcasm. "So urgent?" "He needs me," she said without even looking back. "Unlike you, who only doubts me." The door slammed shut, leaving silence behind. I walked to the window and watched as she rushed into the taxi waiting downstairs. Strangely, I felt no anger, no sorrow, only relief. "This is better," I whispered to myself. "At least I don't have to keep lying to myself anymore." At dawn, my mother called. "Son." Her voice was full of joy. "Everything's ready. Your plane ticket is booked for tonight. The Sun family's daughter is eager to meet you. The invitation has been sent. If you want to invite friends to the wedding, they're all welcome." I gazed at the rising sun outside the window and made my final decision. "Got it, Mom. I'll come back tonight." Chapter 4. I pushed open the glass doors of the company lobby and immediately felt something was off. The receptionist looked at me with pity, and colleagues avoided my gaze. "Director Augustine, you don't know yet, do you?" Tony, the admin assistant, stopped me, lowering his voice. "Know what?" "President Gabriella just sent a company-wide email. Luis has been appointed marketing director, and you've been reassigned as his assistant." I froze in place. My phone buzzed with the HR announcement. As I walked toward my office, I saw my belongings piled outside in the hallway. My father's memorial portrait had been tossed carelessly on the floor, the frame already bent. I drew a deep breath and pushed open the door. Luis was sitting in my chair, legs crossed, laughing into the phone. "Yes, that's the plan. Anyway, he doesn't have any say anymore." When he saw me, he hung up, wearing a triumphant smile. "Morning, Assistant Augustine. My things." I tried to keep my tone calm. "Oh, those old items." He pointed to the hallway. "Didn't fit the new office vibe, so I had them cleared out." I walked out, bent down, and picked up my father's portrait. The glass was shattered, and a deep crease cut across the photo. This was my father's relic. My voice trembled. Luis strolled to the doorway, leaning against the frame. Oops, must have broken by accident. But honestly, isn't something that old better kept at home? He reached out. Let me see. Maybe I can fix it. Don't touch it, I barked. What's wrong? Angry. He smirked. Remember, you're my assistant now. That attitude isn't very professional. Then he yanked the frame out of my hands and deliberately let it crash to the ground. Oh dear, my bad, he said with fake remorse. Looking at the footprint smudged across my father's photo, I lost all control. My fist shot forward, smashing into his jaw. Luis staggered back, knocking over the chair with a loud crash. Help, he's gone crazy, he shouted, clutching his face. As expected, Gabriella rushed out from the next office. What happened? She hurried to Luis, who was sprawled on the floor, and helped him up. Luis, are you okay? Augustine suddenly went insane and attacked me. Luis feigned pitifulness. Gabriella turned on me, her eyes blazing. Are you out of your mind? Attacking someone over a job change? He deliberately destroyed my father's photo, I said coldly. Luis immediately shook his head. I only knocked it over by accident. I was trying to pick it up and apologize when he hit me. Gabriella, don't blame him, he added. The marketing director position was his to begin with. I shouldn't have accepted. Gabriella's anger only grew. All this over a job title. Augustine, you've truly disappointed me. I looked at her, suddenly finding it absurd. She didn't care about the truth, only about what she wanted to believe. I pulled out the resignation letter I had already prepared. No need to argue. I'm leaving. Gabriella froze. You're resigning. That's right. HR is already processing it. Her expression shifted from shock to fury. Breaking up. Resigning. You think this will get my attention? I don't need your attention. I just need to leave. I know what this is. She sneered. You just want to keep the director position. As long as you don't bring up breaking up again, the job is still yours. I shook my head and bent to pick up the broken frame. No, I've already made my decision. As I turned to leave, Gabriella rushed forward and grabbed my arm. Try leaving and see what happens. Chapter 5. Gabriella gripped my wrist so hard her nails nearly pierced my skin. Her eyes blazed with fury. You think this is over? She hissed, threatening me. If you dare walk away, I'll not only let Luis take over all your work, but I'll marry him right away, so you'll regret it for the rest of your life. I didn't struggle. I only looked at her calmly. Threats like this once shook me to the core. Now, they only seemed laughable. Are you even listening to me? She grew more aggressive at my silence. I pulled a golden embossed invitation from my briefcase and handed it to her. What a coincidence. I'm getting married too. Come have a drink at my wedding. Her face froze instantly, like a paused movie scene. She took the invitation, her hand trembling. What wedding? You're joking, right? I'm not joking. With who? Monica Sun, daughter of the Sun Group. When did you even meet her? It was arranged by my family. My mother has always liked her. Gabriella's lips trembled, a flurry of emotions flickering in her eyes. You can't just suddenly get married. She shook her head, panic in her voice. You're lying to me, aren't you? Watching her panic gave me an odd sense of satisfaction. For the first time in years, I held the upper hand. Smack. Her hand struck my face, the slap burning hot. How dare you treat me like this? She screamed, her voice breaking into sobs. I touched my stinging cheek, but my heart was calm. How could she be angry? Wasn't today's mess all of her own making? That slap makes us even. With that, I turned and walked toward the elevator without looking back. Behind me, her curses mingled with Luis's attempts to comfort her. 5 years ago, when I left home, my mother's warning echoed in my ears. That woman is not a good match. You'll regret it. But back then, all I saw was Gabriella. For her, I was willing to give up everything. Young master, welcome home. I came back to myself as the car stopped at the family estate. The butler respectfully took my luggage. Where's Mom? Madam is waiting in the study. I pushed open the study door. My mother was reviewing documents. Seeing me, she set down her pen and stood with a smile. Finally come to your senses. You were right. I was wrong. She nodded in satisfaction. Go freshen up. Dinner is ready. The warm bathwater eased my body. This was the life I should have had. Not chasing endlessly around Gabriella in that tiny company. Suddenly, the bathroom door swung open. Who? I jolted upright, trying to cover myself. Monica stood in the doorway, smiling brightly. Long time no see. Augustine. How did you get in? I'm bathing. Your mom sent me up. She stepped closer. She thought you might need some help. I don't need. Before I could finish, a bottle of cold water poured over my head. What the hell are you doing? Revenge. She laughed smugly. For how you treated me back then. I was speechless. Back in college, she had confessed to me, and I had rejected her in public, cruelly, with harsh words. I was a jerk back then, I admitted. But can you at least leave so I can get dressed? Why should I? She raised an eyebrow. We're about to get married, aren't we? What? Who said that? Your mother. She chuckled. She said you came back tonight to see me and get ready for marriage. I froze. I didn't know it was you. So you came back planning to marry someone else? She narrowed her eyes. No, I just, forget it. She turned away. Get dressed. I'll wait in the living room. Half an hour later, dressed, I came downstairs. My mother and Monica were chatting in the living room. Augustine. My mother waved cheerfully. Come join us. I'm talking with your future wife. I looked at Monica. You really agreed to this? Why not? She met my gaze calmly. Because I treated you so badly back then. You should hate me. I did hate you, she admitted. But that doesn't mean I stopped liking you. Why do you still like me? That question, she smiled. You can think about after we're married. My mother looked pleased. It's settled then. The engagement ceremony will be next week. Wait, I blurted out. I haven't agreed yet. Didn't you come back for marriage? My mother asked, puzzled. Yes, but I didn't know it was Monica. Then you should thank me. My mother interrupted. At least it's someone you know. Better than a stranger. I turned to Monica. Do you really want to marry me? Not just to get back at me. She looked straight into my eyes. I want to marry you because I like you. Always have. Chapter 6. Have a good talk. I'll go prepare dinner, my mother said, casting us a meaningful glance before leaving the living room. The moment her footsteps faded down the hallway, Monica turned to me, her eyes glimmering with amusement. Your mom is thoughtful. She knows how to give us private space. I cleared my throat awkwardly. That's just how she is, always making decisions on her own. So, Monica looked straight into my eyes. Do you really plan to marry me? The directness of her question left me momentarily speechless. I stared at the girl I had grown up with, unsure how to respond. What are you thinking? She nudged me lightly, breaking my thoughts. Still thinking about that woman? I shook my head. No, liar. She put her hands on her hips, her expression turning stern. I just don't get it. What's so good about Gabriella anyway? She began listing Gabriella's flaws, her voice dripping with jealousy. Watching her puffed up cheeks, I couldn't help but laugh. What are you laughing at? She glared at me. Nothing, just. I think you're adorable. Her expression softened instantly. She leaned closer, whispering, so, are you mine now? Her question stirred memories of everything between us. How she had protected me from bullies as a child. How she had chased off girls who tried to confess to me in school. How she stayed by my side when my father died, helping me through the darkness. If not for Gabriella, perhaps Monica and I would have been together long ago. What are you thinking about? Her voice pulled me back to the present. I held her hand. I was thinking about our story. Which part? When I beat up those boys who bullied you? Or when I tore up that love letter a girl gave you in the cafeteria? I shook my head with a smile. All of it. I never properly thanked you. No need. Her gaze softened. I did all that because I liked you. Her frankness stirred something in me. I leaned closer and whispered, I think I've always liked you too, just blinded by Gabriella. Her eyes lit up. You mean? I took a deep breath. I'm willing to marry you. With a joyful cry, she threw herself into my arms, nearly knocking me over. Then she rose on tiptoe and kissed my lips. That kiss ignited the desire I had suppressed for so long. I lifted her and strode toward the bedroom, forgetting completely that my mother was still in the kitchen. That night, we held each other without restraint, not falling asleep until dawn. By afternoon, the doorbell woke me. Half asleep, I shuffled to open the door, only to find Gabriella standing outside. She held a small box, her expression complicated. Your stuff. You left it at the office. I took the box and opened it. Inside was the watch she once gave me. When I left, I had intentionally left it behind. I wanted no reminders of her. Our conversation was brief. She tried to find excuses to linger, to be alone with me, but I kept my distance. Just as the silence grew heavy, Monica walked out of the bedroom, wearing only my shirt. Seeing this, Gabriella's face froze. She hurriedly muttered a farewell, turned around, and left. Her departing figure looked lonely, almost fragile. Chapter 7. After closing the door, Monica's expression immediately turned serious. She bluntly pointed out that Gabriella still had feelings for me, that she had come to test whether I truly intended to get married. Men are so dense. Monica shook her head. She was clearly watching your reaction, trying to confirm if you're really going through with the wedding. Surprised, I asked how she could be so sure. A woman's intuition, she replied with a mysterious smile. We can always sense another woman's thoughts, especially when she's interested in our man. She stepped closer, wrapping her arms around my neck. From now on, stay away from her. Understood? I chuckled and nodded. Yes, ma'am. Satisfied, she kissed me. That's better. Now, let's go tell your mom some good news. What good news? I asked curiously. Monica smiled mischievously and whispered in my ear, tell her she's going to be a grandmother soon. My face flushed. That's way too fast, isn't it? What? You don't want to? She raised an eyebrow, eyes glinting with challenge. It's not that I don't want to. It's just what? Don't tell me you're still thinking about that ex-girlfriend of yours. I took a deep breath. No, Gabriella and I are completely over. From now on, I'll stay far away from her and focus on building a family with you. Her smile showed satisfaction. Before I could say more, she was already on tiptoe, arms around my neck, kissing me passionately. Our relationship was sealed in that moment, as if it had been destined all along. That night, as we curled up on the couch watching a movie, my phone suddenly buzzed. A friend request appeared on the screen. "Who is it?" Monica asked curiously. I glanced at it and frowned. "Luis, Gabriella's man." She grew instantly alert. "What does he want from you?" After a moment of hesitation, I accepted. Almost immediately, a barrage of messages flooded in. Luis's words were full of hostility and warning. He accused me of clinging to Gabriella, saying she had cancelled an important company meeting just to deliver that watch to me. He told me to remember my place and stop interfering in their relationship. How ridiculous, I sneered, handing the phone to Monica. All these years, Gabriella never once put me first. After reading the messages, Monica scoffed. "He's jealous. Looks like Gabriella still has feelings for you." I shook my head and told her about that cold winter night last year. I had been bedridden with a high fever, only wanting Gabriella to buy me some medicine. But she said Luis had an urgent project that needed her help, and quickly hung up. Later I found out that the so-called urgent project was nothing but one of their private dates. I said bitterly, "That woman is outrageous." Monica fumed. "She ignored you when you were sick, but now she suddenly has time to deliver a watch." I was just about to block Luis when Monica deftly took my phone away. "Don't waste time on people who don't deserve your attention," she said softly, leaning on my shoulder. "Since it's over, don't look back anymore." I wrapped my arm around her shoulder, grateful for her understanding. "You're right, they're not worth my time. Oh, by the way," she suddenly looked up, her eyes sparkling. "There's a business gala tomorrow night. Will you come with me?" Curious, I asked what kind of event it was. She explained it was her company's annual banquet, the perfect chance to announce our relationship publicly. "You want to introduce me to everyone?" I asked in surprise. "Of course," she smiled. "I want everyone to know that Monica is already taken." Her straightforwardness made me laugh, and I gladly agreed. She turned off the TV happily and pulled me back into the bedroom. The next morning, I was awakened by birds chirping outside the window. Monica was still asleep, sunlight streaming through the curtains, tracing her delicate features. "What are you looking at?" She suddenly opened her eyes, catching me. "At how beautiful my future wife is," I answered honestly. She smiled, stretching lazily. "What time is it?" "Just past 9. "Oh my God." She jolted awake. "We need to hurry. There's so much to do before the gala tonight." Before I could react, she was already dragging me into the bathroom. What happened next caught me off guard. She started unbuttoning my sleepwear, and I could only stumble back awkwardly. "What are you doing?" she asked, puzzled by my reaction. I think you should shower first." But she yanked at the hem of my shirt anyway. The fabric tore with a sharp rip. "We're about to get married, and you're still this shy." She laughed at my embarrassed expression. Our time in the bathroom lasted much longer than expected. It wasn't until nearly 11 that we were finally ready to leave. Monica had chosen a deep blue velvet dress with a daring slit that showed off her long legs. Her hair was styled in an elegant bun, with loose strands falling naturally by her ears. "You look stunning," I said sincerely. "Like a princess." Smiling, she stepped closer and adjusted my tie. "There'll be a lot of my colleagues and business partners tonight. I'll introduce you to them." "I'm a little nervous," I admitted. "I'm not great at socializing." "Don't worry," she reassured me. "Just stand by my side. You don't need to do anything else." Even so, a faint unease stirred in my heart. Chapter 8. Augustine, are you listening to me? Monica's voice pulled me back from my thoughts. "Sorry, I got distracted," I said with an apologetic smile. Standing in the hotel elevator, I suddenly realized something I had never thought about before. During the 5 years I was with Gabriella, she never once brought me to any of her social events, let alone introduced me to her friends. I had always assumed it was because she wanted to stay low profile. But now, I saw the truth. Maybe I just wasn't important enough. Nervous, Monica squeezed my hand. "A little," I admitted. "I'm not good in these kinds of settings." "Don't worry," she said with a smile as she straightened my tie. "I'll be right here." The elevator doors opened to reveal a lavishly decorated banquet hall. Monica explained that this was a quarterly networking gala hosted by several major corporations, on the surface a business exchange, but in reality also a matchmaking ground for the heirs of powerful families. Monica, a woman in a Chanel suit, walked toward us. "It's been ages." "Ali," Monica greeted warmly, then naturally looped her arm through mine. "Let me introduce you. This is my husband, Augustine." I was surprised that she used the word husband instead of fiancé, but still extended my hand politely. "Hello, it's a pleasure to meet you." "Oh my, you're finally married," Ali exclaimed. "I thought you'd stay single until 40. Over the next half hour, Monica introduced me to at least 20 business figures. Every time, she called me husband without hesitation, her tone filled with unmistakable pride. Just as we were speaking with a senior banking executive, my eyes wandered across the crowd and froze on two all too familiar figures, Gabriella and Luis. They stood at the far end of the hall, as if they had just arrived. Gabriella wore a beige evening gown, clearly dressed with extra care. I quickly averted my gaze, but it was too late. Our eyes met across the room. For a brief moment, Surprise flickered in hers, followed by something more complicated. What's wrong? Monica immediately picked up on my distraction. Nothing. I shook my head, then grabbed a chocolate-covered strawberry from a passing waiter's tray. Here, try this. Looks good. I held the strawberry up to her lips. Monica blinked in surprise, then smiled sweetly as she took a bite. Really sweet, she said, deliberately raising her voice. Then she picked up another strawberry and fed it to me. Here, you try. I bit into it and nodded. Delicious. Of course it is, she teased, winking. Strawberries taste sweeter when fed by your husband. Halfway through the gala, a group of Monica's college friends came over to catch up with her. I took the chance to excuse myself, telling her I was going to the restroom, but as I stepped out of the washroom, ready to head back to the banquet hall, a familiar figure blocked my path. Gabriella, can we talk? Her voice was lower than usual, carrying a trace of pleading I had never heard before. There's nothing to talk about. I tried to walk past her. Please move, but she blocked me with her arm. Just 5 minutes. I'm begging you. I stopped, sighing. Say it quickly. Are you really married? She stared straight into my eyes. You didn't just do it to spite me, did you? That's none of your business, Augustine. I know I did a lot of things wrong. That day at the company, I shouldn't have treated you like that. I let out a cold laugh. Now you know how to apologize. Too late. It's not too late. She suddenly stepped forward and grabbed my arm. We can start over. I'll fire Luis. You can be in charge of the company again. I shook her off. Gabriella, have some self-respect. I'm married now. Please respect that. Her eyes turned red instantly. You can't have fallen for someone else this quickly. I know you still love me. Then she suddenly threw herself at me, hugging me tightly. The move shocked me and disgusted me. I shoved her away with force, stepping back. Enough. I raised my voice. We're over. I have a new life now, a new partner. Don't interfere anymore. Her tears finally spilled over. Augustine, I was wrong. All these years, I never truly cherished you. Only when you left did I realize how much you meant to me. Please, give me one more chance. I swear I'll change. Once upon a time, a single tear from her could make me weak. Now, it only seemed ridiculous. It's too late. I shook my head. I've already made my choice. I wish you and Luis happiness. I don't want him. She nearly screamed. I only want you. Just then, a clear voice echoed from the end of the hallway. Darling, so here you are. I turned to see Monica walking toward us, a brilliant smile on her face. She crossed the hallway, came right up to me, and tiptoed to kiss me on the cheek. I've been looking everywhere for you, she said deliberately loud. Her gaze locked on Gabriella. Turns out you were being held up. Pretending to just notice, she pointed at my suit. Oh no, your jacket's stained. She gestured at the smudge of lipstick on my sleeve. And this was custom made for you. Before I could react, she had already slipped the jacket off my shoulders and tossed it straight into the trash bin. No worries. I'll buy you a better one when we get home, she said soothingly. Then she turned to Gabriella, her smile triumphant. Do me a favor and stop bothering my husband from now on. Okay. Gabriella's face went pale with fury, but before she could speak, Monica had already taken my arm and led me away. Chapter 9. I knew she still couldn't let go of you, Monica said triumphantly, her eyes glimmering with victory. Women are especially sensitive to these things. I held her hand tightly and smiled. You're always right. As we returned to the banquet hall, Monica suddenly stopped, her eyes lighting up. She turned to me with a mysterious smile. I have an idea. Before I could ask, she was already pulling me toward the main stage. She gestured to the band, and the music slowly faded. All eyes turned toward us. Sorry to interrupt, Monica said as she accepted the microphone from a staff member, her voice ringing clear. I'd like to take this chance to share some good news. She looked at me, her eyes filled with tenderness. This is Augustine, my husband. We just completed our marriage registration and are officially husband and wife. I hope everyone here will bless us. The hall erupted in cheers, applause, and congratulations. Amid the joyful atmosphere, I noticed Gabriella in the corner. Her face was pale, fists clenched, eyes burning with anger, unwillingness, and pain. Before the announcement ended, she hurried out of the hall, leaving Luis behind, staring blankly in confusion. Half an hour later, while I was speaking with several entrepreneurs, Luis appeared before me, fury written all over his face. Can I have a word? He asked, forcing down his rage. I excused myself politely and followed him to a quieter corner. What did you say to Gabriella? He demanded, his voice low and hostile. I didn't say anything, I replied calmly. I just asked her to respect my decision. Lies. He nearly ground his teeth. Why else would she leave so suddenly? You must have provoked her. Looking at this man, still in the dark, I felt a flicker of pity. Do you really want to know what happened? I asked. Of course. I said no more, only contacted the hotel's head of security. On the monitor, the footage played clearly, Gabriella stopping me in the hallway, her confession, her embrace, every word she said. I was wrong. These 5 years, I never truly cherished you. Give me another chance. I promise I'll change. I don't want him. I only want you. Each word fell like a hammer, striking Luis's heart. His expression shifted from anger to shock, and finally to utter despair. "Why?" he murmured. "Why is it you?" Suddenly, he grabbed my collar. "What's so special about you? Why is she still obsessed with you?" I didn't resist, only looked at him calmly. "That's a question you should ask her, not me." His grip slowly loosened, and he slumped against the wall, as if all strength had drained out of him. I said nothing more, turning to leave the monitoring room and returning to the banquet hall to find Monica. On the way home, Monica's phone kept buzzing with notifications. She opened her social media and was stunned to see several trending hashtags rapidly climbing the charts. Hashtag Lynn executive breakdown at the bar. Hashtag business rising star confronts ex-girlfriend in public. Clicking on the video, the image showed Gabriella Lynn, stripped of her usual elegance and composure. She sat alone in the corner of a high-end bar, surrounded by empty glasses. "Augustine," her voice was slurred from alcohol. "How could you treat me this way? I loved you so much, why can't you give me another chance? I never truly liked Luis, never. I only wanted to make you jealous. I thought no matter what I did, you would always stay by my side. Why did you just go and get married? What's so good about that woman?" The camera suddenly turned to the entrance of the bar, where Luis stood, his expression shifting from disbelief to deep anguish. He strode toward Gabriella, his voice trembling. "Is everything you just said true?" Gabriella looked up at him, not panicked at all. Instead, she gave a drunken smile. "Of course it's true. Why? You don't believe me? Then what about our engagement?" Luis's voice was almost begging. Gabriella took another large gulp of alcohol. "Engagement? That was only for Augustine to see. I wanted to make him jealous. I wanted him to come back and beg me." Luis's eyes turned red. "Then what am I to you?" Gabriella gave him a cold glance, her tone dripping with drunken disdain. You're nothing." With that, she staggered to her feet, shoved Luis aside, and stumbled out of the bar, leaving him standing frozen in place, as if struck by lightning. After closing the video, Monica and I sat in silence for a while. "It's unbelievable," Monica finally said. "How could she treat someone who truly loved her that way?" I didn't answer. I only held Monica's hand tighter. Once, I too had been that fool who was used. But now, I had finally found someone truly worthy of my love. "Thank you," I whispered. "Thank you for showing me what real love is." Monica leaned against my shoulder and murmured softly, "Don't thank me, because I've also found the happiness I was searching for." Chapter 10. The speed at which the video spread was far beyond what I had imagined. I had thought this matter would gradually die down with time, but things developed in an unexpected direction. In less than an hour, a new wave of revelations about Gabriella appeared on social media. Hashtag Gabriella bullying roommate during college. Hashtag Gabriella's affair with a married executive. Most shocking of all, someone anonymously released a hospital report, clearly showing Gabriella's name and the diagnosis, early pregnancy, although the account was anonymous. Judging from the content, it wasn't difficult to guess that this information most likely came from Luis. Clearly, he had chosen the most extreme way to retaliate against Gabriella's betrayal. "Did you see the latest updates?" Monica sat on the sofa, her fingers scrolling rapidly across her phone screen. I nodded. "I did. Luis is determined to destroy her completely. Isn't she going to come out and explain herself?" Monica frowned. If all of this is true, how could she possibly explain? For the entire night, Gabriella's social media remained silent, but her comment sections had turned into a battlefield of public condemnation. Overwhelming waves of curses and accusations filled the space. There wasn't a single voice defending her. "What are you thinking about?" Monica noticed the change in my expression. "Nothing. I just feel like things are going a bit too far." "She deserves it," Monica said mercilessly. "This is the price of hurting others." Just as we were talking, the doorbell suddenly rang. "So late, who could it be?" Monica asked suspiciously as she walked toward the door. Through the peephole, she turned back to me in shock. "It's Gabriella." I walked up to the door and peered through the peephole, only to see a Gabriella who was almost unrecognizable. Her hair was a tangled mess, her makeup was completely ruined, and her clothes were stained and torn. The heavy stench of alcohol clung to her entire body. "Should we open it?" Monica whispered to me. I hesitated for a moment, then nodded. Monica opened the door. Gabriella staggered in the doorway, her gaze unfocused. When she saw me, a glimmer of hope flashed in her eyes. "What are you doing here?" I asked coldly. I just wanted to see you once." Her voice was hoarse, as if she had been crying for a long time. "Well, now you've seen me, you can leave." Even though I had asked her to leave, she showed no intention of going. She took a step forward and nearly stumbled. "Augustine, I have nothing left now." Her voice was filled with despair. I wasn't surprised. Just a few hours ago, the Lynn Corporation had released an official statement announcing the termination of Gabriella's employment, emphasizing that her personal behavior had nothing to do with the company. Even more shocking was the Lynn family's brief announcement. Because of Gabriella's misconduct, her inheritance rights had been suspended. For a family that valued reputation above all else, this was undoubtedly the harshest punishment. "That has nothing to do with me," I replied calmly. "Your problems are yours to solve." At my words, her eyes instantly dimmed. What about our 5 years together? She choked, tears streaming down her face. Does it mean nothing to you? I couldn't help but sneer. You want to talk about love now? Where was that when you betrayed me? I know I was wrong. Her tears spilled over. Just give me one more chance, please? Impossible. I shook my head firmly. I already have a new life. Please stop disturbing me and my wife. I'm begging you. She almost pleaded on her knees. I only have you left. Please leave. Monica stepped forward, her tone unwavering. Or we'll have no choice but to call the police. Gabriella glanced at Monica, then at me, before finally turning away. Her retreating figure looked unbearably lonely and defeated. After closing the door, I let out a long sigh of relief. Monica came over and gently embraced me. It's over. Everything's behind us now. I wrapped my arms around her, the shadows in my heart gradually dissipating. When I turned toward the kitchen, I discovered Monica had already prepared a lavish dinner. Every dish was one of my favorites, their aroma filling the air. When did you make all this? I asked in surprise. While you were napping this afternoon, she said with a smile. Come on, taste it and see if it's to your liking. I picked up a piece of sweet and sour pork. The flavor was perfect, balanced between tangy and sweet, with tender, juicy meat. It's delicious, I praised sincerely. Then I'll make it for you every day, she said joyfully. So you'll always have something tasty to eat. I shook my head. How could I let you cook every day? From now on, leave the cooking to me. All you need to do is enjoy life. Really? Her eyes sparkled with delight. Then I'll be spoiled. Of course it's true, I grinned. My cooking skills aren't bad at all. After dinner, we decided to take a walk around the community to help with digestion. As soon as we stepped outside, we heard commotion in the distance, accompanied by the wail of sirens. What happened? Monica asked curiously. A neighbor rushed past, looking panicked. There's been a car accident in the East District. It looks serious. Driven by instinctive curiosity, we followed the crowd toward the scene. Outside the east gate of the neighborhood, a luxury car had crashed into the roadside barrier, its front completely mangled. Police and paramedics were busy at the scene, and the area had been cordoned off. From afar, I saw medical staff lifting a figure onto a stretcher. Even though the body was covered in blood, I recognized the familiar dark green silk blouse and beige trousers. It was the same outfit Gabriella had been wearing earlier. It's a drunk driving accident, someone whispered nearby. They say her blood alcohol level was several times over the limit. My heart sank, a complex and indescribable feeling welling up inside me. Let's go home, I said softly to Monica. She nodded, silently holding my hand as we turned away from the crowd. At last, it was truly over.